So good afternoon. I have the most comfortable TED Talk for this afternoon. And I would like to thank you, first of all, for being here this afternoon and for inviting me to open this wonderful event. My mission, for those of you that don't know who I am or what the Shaolin is about, is to share some very ancient ideas and apply them with the modern times. And so when I was invited to speak about ideas and idea development and idea multiplication, I thought about which idea I could share with you. And then I reflected that perhaps instead of sharing an idea with you, we should talk a little bit about what makes ideas become something and why ideas often remain as ideas and don't get developed and don't get multiplied. And in Shaolin culture, there are a series of, let's call them rules, that can help us develop ideas and can help us share ideas with others and turn ideas into something. And so I would like to start this time together by sharing some of these tools and some of these methods. So the first one is to take small steps. So when you have an idea or when you want to multiply and develop this idea, according to Shaolin culture, to make a big change, to make a big revolution, to start with this idea to make a big revolution is a big challenge. And it's a challenge so big and so overwhelming that often leaves the idea undeveloped. So the Shaolin approach is to take a small steps, but take that step. Don't let the idea be forgotten. Don't let the idea disappear and dissipate. Take a small step today, and take a small step tomorrow, and take a small step the next day. And through a whole series of small steps, through an evolution rather than a revolutionary process, the idea can take place, and the idea can dissipate and propagate much, much further than with a big approach, which often just simply is too big to undertake. The second rule of Shaolin idea development is to accept mistakes and, in fact, to welcome mistakes as a necessary, indispensable part of developing and spreading ideas. So if you make no mistakes, you're actually not doing anything new. You're not trying anything. You really don't have an idea. If you have ideas, and if the ideas are new and stimulating and challenging, they will invariably lead to mistakes. And you know, this morning when I arrived here, I was shown this amazing institute and educational facilities. And school is a great learning process, but at the same time in Shaolin, we tend to say that school is a little bit the opposite of life. And the reason why it's the opposite of life is because in school you learn a lesson and then you have an exam. And in life you have an exam and then you learn the lesson. And so there are going to be a lot of exams that you don't pass. And the process of developing ideas and trying new things means making all these mistakes, means having lots of exams that we don't pass. But with every exam, we learn a new lesson and we develop our ideas further and we propagate them further. And the third Shaolin rule about idea development is to apply discipline. So discipline is a very, very important concept in Shaolin culture because discipline is, in a way, the tool that allows us to develop whatever it is that we want to develop. Without discipline, we cannot reach the targets we want to reach, we cannot develop the ideas we want to develop, and so on. So discipline in Shaolin is not seen as a kind of burden and a heavy task, but it's seen as like the enabler. It's the empowering tool that I need to develop what I need to develop or to propagate the idea that I wish to propagate. The next rule about Shaolin idea development processes is to focus more on the journey and less on the destination. You know, ideas are a journey. The process of turning an idea from the first thought to some kind of great project or great result, it's a process, and this process is a journey. And in that journey is the real process, not in some kind of utopic destination, which I might reach or I might not. Because how many ideas started in one direction, and then as you were traveling towards that idea, you realized that there was something else there that you should go towards, and then something else, and so on. So the journey is the very process of developing and of spreading and of growing of an idea. But too often we just focus on the destination. We have some result in mind or some objective in mind, and everything is focused on that, and we lose perspective. So in Shaolin culture, the destination is important because it gives us a bearing on where to take our idea, but the journey is the far, far more important moment and more important process. And the next rule is to focus on the present moment, because the present moment is where the journey takes place. So the only real moment is this time in this room right now. The past is just a memory in our minds, and the future is just a collective thought in our mind. So to focus on the present and to apply yourself in that present to develop the idea by taking perhaps small steps. Maybe today you are very busy and you have many other things and you don't have the time or the resources or whatever, but you can take a small step to make sure that that idea doesn't stop, that idea continues to evolve and to propagate and to develop. And when you're doing this in the present, there is the next rule, which is to do it with as much passion, with as much heart, with as much determination as you can muster. You know, a famous master once said that there is a museum of procrastination. And in this museum of procrastination, there are the greatest books never written, the greatest inventions never produced, and so on and so forth. So don't allow your idea to end up in that museum of procrastination. By applying yourself with discipline and by applying yourself with passion and with care in the small step, not in the big step, but in the small step in the present moment. In the next and the second last rule of this Shaolin idea development and idea propagation process is to do everything you do with values. So values are a kind of platform that supports and that gives meaning to your ideas. And when I speak about values, I mean things like respect, trust, passion, discipline, compassion, courage, and so on and so forth. And these values are the fundamental tool, the fundamental building block on which any kind of idea development and idea propagation should be developed from. Without the values, any idea development process will lose meaning, and any idea propagation process will lose meaning, because what will give meaning to that interaction between 2 people and 5 people and 100 people is the values that they share. And what will make the idea strong and what will make the performance of the people that develop this idea strong will be the values they share, not the competencies. The competencies you can get, you probably already have. That's why you're involved in that process. But the values that you share with each other will give it meaning and will give it power and will make the idea go very far. And the last one of these Shaolin rules is actually possibly the most fundamental one, the one from which all of this process should start from. And it's the idea of being free, of letting go of your fears, of embracing change. Ideas need change. Ideas themselves are a process of change. And so without the courage to let go of your fears, to let go of your barriers, to get out of your comfort zone, it's going to be very, very difficult, possibly not simply impossible to develop any ideas. And so what I would like to do today to conclude this very short time together is to get you out of your comfort zone a little bit, to make you do something that it's a new idea for most of you because it's something that you have no familiarity with, and that hopefully will get a little bit of that energy, a little bit of that passion out of you, so that you can then apply that passion and that energy and that free-spiritedness of being out of your comfort zone to the whole rest of the afternoon together with the wonderful speeches and the wonderful ideas that will be presented after me. And to do this, I ask you to please stand up. So we will do a little exercise together. And to do this exercise, the first step is to learn the exercise. So before we can use something, we have to learn it. And then when we learn it, we can use it. So we will learn it very quickly together. It's very, very simple. It will take you maybe 1 minute to learn it. And I will turn the same way like you so that you don't get confused left, right, and so on. So what we do is we stand in a very natural way, and we breathe in, and we breathe out very deeply. And then after we finished with the breathing, we breathe in again, and we bring our fists to our sides. And from this position, we will do three things, three movements. The first one is we'll step with the left leg forward, and we push with our left hand forward, and we breathe out. Then we step back, and we hit our right fist on our left hand. And then we step again to the left, but this time we punch with our right hand forward. And then we go back. So the more I hear laughter, the more it means you're out of your comfort zone, and that's how you're dealing with the uncomfortableness. So that's good. So we do it again. We breathe in and out and in and left and back and punch and back. Okay, one more time. Ready? We breathe in and out and in and left and back and punch and up. So I told you that the purpose was to first learn the exercise and then use it. So now we have to use it. And you wonder, okay, how we use this? We will punch each other? No. What we will do is we will get some emotions out. And emotions are linked to the breath and also to the way we use the breath. So what we will do is we will use our breath to shout. And what it means is when we do the punch, the last movement, we will shout with all our breath and all our energy and all our emotion and all our passion. And how we will shout will not be with our voice, so but with our breath. So, ho! Okay? So, get out there. This is your opportunity to get out everything you have to get out, okay? So, let's get ready. So, we breathe in and out. And in and out. And in and go. Ha! And back. Excellent. Please take a seat. So, as it's always the case with these kind of speeches, our time together has flown, and I see people with very modern technology. They are indicating to me that it's time out. So I thank you very, very much for this time together. I hope you got some ideas about how to develop your ideas, and I hope you got some energy to apply to the next ideas that will be presented to you by the wonderful speakers here today. Thank you very much. Omi toho.